before I went, I expected to see more brokenness than anything I've ever seen before. And I've heard stories about the Trash Mountain communities and how there's so much poverty and how the children are raising their siblings. And I got there and I was just expecting to see so much brokenness and so much like sadness. It was probably 2 hours that we were in there from the airport to the actual place we were staying. And I remember the first like 30 minutes we were still kind of tired, but we were all joking around and laughing and having a good time. And then after that, I remember I was just looking out the window and I saw all of these people putting rice on the ground so that it could dry. And that was when it really hit me that we're about to do something like completely different than we've ever done before. I didn't realize how close it was actually to the dump. Like we got to go actually right on the outside of the dump, and there were people working in there. And while we were standing on the outside, I looked over my shoulder and I saw this dump truck coming, and all of the people were in the dump getting ready, and my heart kind of just clenched, and I knew that this was their life. They knew nothing outside of that. It's unexplainable just how that moment you look at your own life and you think, my problems really aren't that bad. You don't have to worry about the things that they worry about. And you just realize how blessed you are. I think it occurred to me later in the trip that we were actually making a big impact on these kids just by playing with them and joking around with them and tickling them and throwing them in the air, that we were doing so much more than that. We were building relationships with not only them, but we were helping them build relationship with God. And I think that the moment that I realized that was when we were doing the Sunday service. We were doing worship, and we had all of the adults who were able to like sing the songs and get more involved in the worship than the kids were at first. But then around the second or third song, I looked over, and the kids had like looked up at the leaders that we brought there, some of the students, and they put their hands up and were fully worshiping. And I think that was the moment that I knew that I wasn't just there to play games and run around and play tag. We were actually making an impact on these kids' lives. God can often be portrayed as like just the religion part of it. We associate God with the Bible and the cross and church and worship services. But I think that during this trip, I saw a completely different side of God. I saw God in those little kids more than anything, just shining through in their smiles and their laughs. And that's something that I'll never forget, is listening to those kids' laughs and automatically associating it with God and God's joy and the peace that He offers. Because they weren't in the best situation, but they 100% were the happiest people that I've ever seen. I think it is so important that they receive the same encouragement that we do here at Fountain Springs, that the youth matters and that the youth is going to lead the way, that the youth is going to be the one who changes the world. And I think that with our student ministry being the people who went on this trip, I think that instilled some hope in those kids and even those teenagers, that they don't have to sit back and watch. They don't have to be an adult to change lives. That they can start from the young age of 3 even. Those 3-year-olds were changing lives. And I think that is probably the most important thing that we left them there.